Okay, guys, what's up, man? Listen, today we got a fragrance from the house of Chanel. And quite honestly, I think it might be my favorite from the collection, but I need to get reacquainted. So strap up and let's go for this ride. New intro. All right, welcome to the Scent Bubble. I am your host for the afternoon. Hope y'all are doing well out there in the interwebs. From the house of Chanel, we have Coromandel. Now, I've told you guys when I went to Neiman's, I tried a few of the fragrances, those of which I'm the most familiar with in terms of like FragCom, what people talk about when they talk about the Les Exclusive line, I believe it's called, which is a bunch of unisex fragrances, some masculine, some feminine leaning. However, they're titled as unisex fragrances. The perfumer, it's this kind of love triangle times 10 where each fragrance is like a reminder of one of her lovers or experiences with lovers and things like that. So anyways, the fragrances that I'm most familiar with as far as what people are talking about is Les Leones or something like that. Boy, which is one of the more original fragrances from that exclusive line. Sycamore, and a few of the other more feminine leaning fragrances I've shopped for my wife before. But this one seems to appeal to me the most, at least right now. I need a little bit more wearing experience with each of them, so I'll probably ultimately have to get another discovery set just to get a full wearing with these fragrances. When it comes to unisex fragrances, I sit with the fragrance longer. Typically, if it's masculine leaning and I like it, I pick it up. But typically with unisex fragrances, I find that sometimes I like them and sometimes I don't. And the question is can I justify a 50 or 100 ml bottle? So I spend a little bit more time with them. So this isn't exactly an initial impressions of Coromandel, but it's probably my third or fourth test strip test, and I've worn it one full day. And I really, really enjoy it. What are we dealing with up top here? We're dealing with a highly I on paper it seems perfectly unisex, but I actually feel like this is a slight lean into the masculine category. Um, it feels honestly, before we talk about notes, first and foremost, we should be doing my sound effects for our test strip. But first and foremost, like just straight off the rip, this is how I feel about it. Straight fireworks. It excites me, and I think that this is a heck of a fragrance. It feels like what Cedrat Boisé and Cedrat Boisé Intense should have been from the House of Mancera. And man, it's just way more beautiful than Cedrat Boisé. This feels timeless and new. It has a classicness to it in terms of like an elegance, an older individual. You know, you can't just be young rocking this. It feels too expensive. It feels too luxurious, but in its timelessness, it still feels very much modern, like just timeless, classy luxury. I don't want to say classy because that'll feel fougere or old school. This just feels like you walk inside of every expensive retailer you can find. You know, you're shopping at Breitling, you're shopping at the Tom Ford, for some clothes. It's just every retailer in a bottle at the highest level. The pinnacle of designer fragrances. Although I think you would consider this niche because it's the exclusive line. You can't find this stuff in Sephora or Ulta. You have to actually go to a Chanel store or Neiman's or something like that. But it's warm, ambery, slightly spicy. There's some patchouli in this. There's got to be patchouli in this. Just kind of got this earthiness to it, but even this sweet resinous amber, not resinous in the same way of like Encre Noir à l'extrême, which feels very like woody, burnt wood, embery resin, very much like rock and wood amber. This feels very much like fresh, posh, luxurious, airy, slightly minty even, but no mint note to speak of. Just like a cooling, like an airiness to it, type of amber. Almost like a frothy amber that you would find from a really expensive beard oil or shaving cream. But the class behind it and the earthiness behind it, to me, really takes it out of fougere into just much more luxurious territory. It goes out of the barbershop for me. But yeah, amber, slight sweetness, airiness, a sophistication DNA similar to Cedrat Boisé intense to me, patchouli, and just a good amount of earthiness. It gives me the same level of earthy sophistication that oak moss does, but this is patchouli. Let's go ahead and take a look at our main screen here. This is what the bottle looks like. This is the smaller, I think 100 ml, but it comes in a 200 ml. And I think the 200 ml is completely justified. I want to see real quick here. Oh, good. My webcam's working today. I wanted to see what this retails for at the bigger bottle level. Chanel. Okay, maybe we can't find it. Anyway, I know it's like $300-400 as far as what the lady told me. Up top, we have bitter orange, citruses, and neroli. To be honest, these citruses are extremely subdued by the earthiness, mainly for me, from the amber, orris, and patchouli accords. But you can tell by looking at this is highly sophisticated. Bitter orange, citruses, and neroli up top for that freshness. Here comes the earthiness with that patchouli, orris root. I absolutely love orris root. I think orris is the base of an iris plant. Let me actually click this and see that. A powdery, earthy, rooty scent with woody violet flower nuances. Okay, it's associated with iris, as you can see here on the top. But yeah, I think it is the stem of an iris plant. Rose, jasmine, you don't really get all that, but you do get kind of a floral freshness to it, mostly leaning on patchouli and orris. Then in the base, that sweetness from white chocolate and amber is just so freaking classy. The synthetics here of the benzoin and the olibanum, I think those are synthetics. Resins and synthetics. Really, man, they really make this fragrance push in a way that doesn't scream beast mode, but screams like 5-6 feet of projection. Like this is a sillage level fragrance. Olibanum, incense, woods, and musk, and you definitely get that musk. Guys, to me, this is a 10 out of 10 fragrance. I'm just going to say that right here and right now. You know, very good fragrance. You guys definitely need to look into this. The perfume guy, Sebastian, gives some alternatives if you can't really afford this caliber of fragrance. I haven't checked them out, but when I looked into them, they're fairly expensive as well, but they sit around like the $150 to $200 price point, which is almost half, if not more, from what this Chanel fragrance is priced at. But you got to get your nose on this. This to me is like a combination of super modern fougere and then extreme luxury, earthy sophistication. Again, I think this absolutely slaughters Cedrat Boisé, but it's definitely reminiscent of the type of accords you get from that fragrance, just at a much higher degree. 10 out of 10 for me, guys. The wearing experience has been solid for me. Easy 6 to 8 hours plus of performance. The sillage and projection bubble is really nice. And occasions, well, actually, let's go to age. I think age for this fragrance starts at 25 and up. I'd almost be pressing to put it at 30, but I do think there's a young moneyness to this, so I'll call it 25. I think a woman, it would smell really good on, but I do think men would really shine with this fragrance, so I'm encouraging men to pick it up. Occasions. This is upscale, rich boy, casual. This is a safe but extremely luxurious date night fragrance. Safe just because it doesn't lean dominantly sweet, but it's got elements of sweet and elements of masculine and sophistication, which is, to me, it just depends on what kind of woman you're dealing with. But I think for the most part, At the very least, she's going to think you got money. She's going to think you have class. She's going to think that you smell sweet, and she's going to want to get up and close and personal with the fragrance like this. So again, I think it's upscale casual to semi-formal. I do think it could rock in a formal setting, but I think for a formal fragrance, I would typically go with something a lot cleaner and less sweet and earthy. But then again, I think this could absolutely rock formal. It just depends on the guy. But I think the sweet spot is semi-formal, date night, and luxurious casual. Amazing fragrance, guys. Sprays on this, I'm doing 4 to 6, and this will take care of you just right. The atomizer on the bottle, the presentation is just nice and clean cut, and it's going to get the job done for you. Really nice, luxurious utility fragrance. I think it could be any season, any reason, every single day wear, if you fit the bill. Again, I wish I could give you guys alternatives. I guess the only alternative that's much cheaper would be something like Cedrat Boisé Intense. I don't like the original Cedrat Boisé. I think it's weak. It's a little too classic for me. I think Intense pushes a little bit harder and is a little bit more modern, but that's just my personal opinion. Definitely get your nose on it. But honestly, if you're going to spend the $100 to $150 for Cedrat Boisé Intense, you might as well just get the 100 ml of Chanel, which probably sits closer to the $200 price point. I would imagine that you guys could find this fragrance for $150 for the 100 ml. Let's see, Chanel Coromandel. Let's see if I can pull it up. Yeah, man, that fragrance is pricey, guys. I'm not gonna hold you. The 100 ml retails for $350. So, man, definitely check out Sebastian's channel to see the alternatives that he recommended. But, man, this is just a great fragrance. I do think it's money well spent because you will use this every single day for many occasions. But it is quite the price point for a fragrance like this. But I give it a 10 out of 10, an absolute perfect. And you guys should definitely check it out. Let me know in the comments if you guys have this fragrance or if you've put your nose to it. Man, if you have a fragrance like this, if you have fragrances of this caliber, you really only need like 5 fragrances. You know what I'm saying? Your everyday luxurious, your everyday casual, your date night fragrance, your formal fragrance, and your nightlife fragrance, and your winter fragrance, something like that. But this could go many different ways on that spectrum and just be an overall game changer of a fragrance to your collection. If you haven't really got into the niche world, this is a heavy hitter. As I start to explore this fragrance and other fragrances, if I ever come across a clone, which I don't think a clone could ever reach this caliber, but if I do, or find an alternative fragrance that Sebastian suggested, I'll look back into those and do some samples of those. I will absolutely let you guys know. But again, this is the Scent Bubble. Hope you guys are blessed. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. More importantly, turn on that notification bell so you can see all the latest and the greatest. With that being said, I'll catch you guys next time.